We're on now.
Okay,
It started.
Hey, here we are.
Hey, I got to tell you, we are so excited, Al and I, to be here with Michael Anthony from the supergroup Van Halen. We appreciate you for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure to invite you to my humble estate here and hang out for a while.
Yeah, we're here at Michael Anthony's house right now. Isn't this terrific? We had to turn the waterfalls off just for sound effects, but
Yeah.
at any rate, listen, we want to ask you questions.
Reminds me of the Madonna Inn, you know that?
The Madonna.
We now have 28 minutes left on this, Al. Hold on a second. Let's ask the real
Keep
questions,
going.
right? At any rate, listen, we want to ask questions that we think that our 3 or 4 listeners out there and the rest of Van Halen fans would be real interested in hearing.
Okay.
And we also want to sell this
here.
to MTV later, so
I'm-
we got to get the right questions. Anyhow, listen, Van Halen has really endured the test of time. You've got to admit that. In fact, you've bridged all kinds of age gaps. Al and I are fans of the group. Well, maybe not Al. He goes back a little bit.
I'm old now. I'm old.
But he's back in the Bing Crosby days. But listen, I'm a fan of the group, and my oldest son, who's 13, is a fan of the group. So we've got kind of an age gap here, and we all enjoy the music, and still do. Tell us about the startup of the band, and when you felt or when you actually got your big break.
Well, actually, I moved to California from Chicago when I was 12 years old, and so I grew up in Arcadia, basically. Went to Arcadia High, and living there, I played in bands with friends of mine in school, and at the same time, the Van Halen brothers were playing. They had a bass player, and just them 3 were playing in the Pasadena area, and everybody kind of knew about each other. You know, it's like everybody kind of sneers and goes, oh, there's that band from Pasadena, those Van Halen brothers. But it's like as time went on, and I played, and I can't even count how many bands I played in school. Once people like, someone would have a new girlfriend, so he'd be done, and this guy would be in attendance, so he'd be out. It was kind of like, it was almost inevitable that we would come together because everyone, the people that were really serious into playing music. And it actually happened, I was playing in this local band. We were called Snake, a very, very original name for a band.
Oh, yeah.
And we happened to be opening up in Pasadena High School for a band, Van Halen. And they had actually just changed the name to Van Halen, and David Lee Roth.
It was Mammoth prior to that.
It was Mammoth prior to that, yeah. And Eddie used to do all the lead vocals back then when it was Mammoth. And then they got David Lee Roth. They figured they'd change the name to Van Halen because rather than have a kind of name of a band that had to do with a fad or something that's going on, if you name the band after the person's name, then the name grows with the band, or hopefully grows with the band. And so the band I was in, we were opening up for them, and through a mutual friend of Eddie's and mine, we were going to Pasadena City College at this time, taking music classes at different times. Hooked me up with those guys because he heard that they were getting rid of their bass player. He said, "Hey, well, how about Mike?" I heard that he might be looking for a new band. And they called me up one day, and history was in the making. The fourth member of the band had joined.
Well, tell me, what was the big break?
Well, we played all around. We played parties. We used to have these huge backyard parties. We played everywhere from Newport Beach all the way to Hollywood. Of course, we didn't play that often in Hollywood because our fans were mostly like jeans and T-shirts in Hollywood. All the big glitter thing was going on.
And still are.
And yeah, and so we wanted to break in to playing out there because because that's where we heard like if you get anybody from the record labels or whatever come and see you. And we happened to be playing this club called the Starwood Club out there, which is no longer around, but we were opening up one night for a band, and Gene Simmons from Kiss, from the band Kiss, came by because somebody told him to check out this other band that was playing with us, and he really liked our band, so he asked if we'd like to go in the studio and do a demo tape. And he tried to get us signed to their management, whatever. And for whatever reason,
Casablanca was the record.
Yeah, it was Casablanca, and Bill Aucoin was their manager at the time. But they were all saying, the other guys in Kiss were saying, well, you don't have time to do this now. We're getting ready to go on tour and whatever. So it all got dropped, but it got the ball rolling. We come back to L.A. and everybody's saying, well, who's this band that Gene Simmons of Kiss secretly flew out to New York to do an album with? And it kind of got everybody interested in the band. And then basically almost a year to the day from when he saw us at this club, we were playing the same club, and Mo Austin, who was then chairman of Warner Brothers, him and Ted Templeman, who was one of their big producers and vice presidents, who would go on to be becoming our producer, came and saw us, and they pretty much signed us right on the spot.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's one of those Cinderella overnight stories that took about 10 years.
And back to Gene Simmons, you've somewhat outlasted them a little bit, right?
Yeah,
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, they put the circus back together.
Yeah, but they need makeup, right, to be successful.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Guys don't.
So, well, see, it's like. Well, I don't know if we're going to get onto this later on as far as the whole thing with David Lee Roth coming back and doing some
we're
stuff.
to touch that. We'll touch that. You know, let's let them.
Brandon will be out of time.
You want to know the real story?
Yeah, all right. You stay tuned, okay? We'll do this after a commercial break. Just kidding, all right? At any rate, listen, so you answered that question pretty well.
This is commercial.
What about...
Okay.
We don't talk about it on this show.
Now, Tom, how much?
Yeah, let's just shorten the answers a little bit. No, just kidding.
He's got another question.
Question 2. How much time do you spend on the road, Michael? And
entirely way too much time. No.
What's your favorite place to perform?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because in the early days of the band, the first few albums when like the popularity was growing or whatever, you spend obviously a lot more time on the road because you have to play everywhere. We played every nook and cranny. I mean, we'd go out for. I wouldn't even talk to or see anybody in my family for like months, like 10 months, 11 months out of the year. And of course now we've attained the success we have where we can control a little bit more where we tour. So I mean, like we'll go out, let's say from the start of an album, it usually takes us maybe about 5-6 months for the album to actually do the recording, the production, all the mixing and all that. And then it takes a little bit of time to do the packaging and all of that and get the CDs and everything going. And then when we go out on tour, there's no real length of time that we say we're going to stay out. We just, you know, we'd like to play here, here, here. We have a booking agency that, you know, it's like real big business. They punch up on the computers where you're doing good, where you're not, where you should play. And we just, when we hit the road, we go out, we do like a month to 6 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. Then we'll come home and we'll take about a week off because we figure that when we do that we can tour longer. You know, all these bands are going to go, oh, we've been out on tour for 15 months now. Well, that's great to hear it like that, but then when you go to see the band, it's like, oh, geez, they don't look too well, you know.
Journey used to do that?
Yeah, you know, and
13 months
you know, we'd rather do it this way because we can go out for a year, year and a half, you know, however long we want. And you take these little breaks, and then everybody from the crew, because they're the guys who really work the hardest, and everybody gets a little time to just relax a bit and recharge their batteries, and then we go back out. And so that way we can stay fresh the whole time we're on tour.
Favorite place?
Favorite place? Oh, God. You know, I've only been asked this question about a zillion times.
Oh, really?
You know, actually, I really have no real favorite place because everywhere we play, there's a certain thing about it that, I mean, like people ask, you know, do you rather play in the States or abroad? Well, I mean, we play somewhere like Japan, which is totally different than the United States, where you play a concert there. Nobody's allowed to smoke, so we have to bring all our own smoke in between for the lights to create the ambience and the mood and everything. And everybody sits real politely, and at the end they excuse them and they put their trash in the trash cans. You know, but they get into it just as much as, let's say, you know, here in LA. Or if we play Texas, where, you know, they're known to be, you know, crazy rock and roll fanatics. But everywhere it kind of has its little...
You get yourself involved on the stage. And
my main thing is I enjoy playing new places. Now, there's a lot of places we haven't really hit the Pacific Rim that much yet, so...
you think he's been to Indonesia?
I don't know.
I know. In fact, I did an interview the other week to Indonesia.
Really?
Like, you know, Hong Kong, and all these people are going, hey, you got to come and you got to play. And on our next tour that we're going to be doing, which is probably going to be next spring, summer, we're going to go out and try to hit some of these places. And I'm really looking forward to that because...
Wow. Great. Hey, you know, I wanted to ask you, too, and I think this is on top on Al's mind, too, by the way, here.
Okay.
Okay.
Al's okay.
Michael told us early on before the interview that 1984 album was your first album that you performed on. And I got to tell you, Al and I have been listening.
That I performed on?
Yeah. Oh, with Van Halen.
No.
It wasn't.
No.
You said that.
Here we go. See,
okay, you're racist.
Just great.
No, it wasn't. All right, then what did you say?
No. We were talking about our studio.
Oh, right.
And that was the first place that we record. That's the first time that we used our studio.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. We didn't have that on.
He's so excited about the whole thing.
That's right. Well, I wanted to tell you that it's our favorite album. I love that album.
1984.
I think that was one of your
that was the
better.
That was the first album that we got really any big commercial success. Right. The song Jump.
And Panama.
Yeah.
I'll Wait. I love all.
That's when we really became kind of really worldwide, and it kind of cracked the whole, you know, everywhere for the band. We kind of broke everywhere.
Now, who has that high voice in the background? Is that you? Or
That's
is that
me.
Eddie? That is you?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I just love that voice.
Not bad for a guy who's never had any vocal training.
No kidding. Oh, you're saying something for us, are you?
No.
All
Crack the
right,
lens.
let's move on. Okay.
Are we on
Now-
question 2 or 3?
I don't know. We're somewhere around here, so we're still on question 1. Well, why don't we ask you the hot question?
Question 1,
right?
part J.
The burning question, okay?
Mhm.
God, the band has been in the news
Yes,
a
we
lot
have.
lately,
Oh,
okay? There was an MTV interview, there was the Rock Awards, there was all kinds of real neat things. By the way, you guys had a phenomenal standing ovation
Yeah.
at the MTV Music Awards.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the death of David Lee Roth at
it
that.
was. What did he do to his hair, anyhow? God!
I don't know. So he had someone cough it.
Go
Is that
back to the lion, man. I'll tell you, that's what did it.
Well, actually,
But tell us about. I didn't even ask you the question yet, Michael.
all right.
Tell us
Great
the burning
Karnak,
question.
well.
All right, listen. You guys have been waffling a little bit with the
Mhm.
lead singing role. The core group has stayed the same, and it's been outstanding. You were with David Lee Roth first as your lead singer. He's gone. Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, came on. Then sort of back to David Lee Roth, and then he's out. And now we've got someone from Extreme, right?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Well, when Dave left, he made no bones about it. He wanted to be a solo artist. That was back in 1985.
What a mistake
Sammy
that
came.
was.
I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, we all thought, Ed, Al, and I were kind of like, is the dream over? And we didn't know what to do. And then Sammy came into the picture, and it was great. But one thing, Sammy never really lost that I'm a solo artist type of attitude. And I hate to say it, because we make great music with Dave and with Sammy, but it became increasingly more that he had kind of his own agenda going. He didn't want to really. Here we're gonna start talking dirt. He didn't really want to put the time in that the rest of the band did. He wanted to come and sing a little bit and then leave. And
Kind of sounds like Al's. I don't want any part.
on
Just let me know when we're filming, all right?
But it finally came to a head. This year we did a song for the soundtrack of the movie Twister, a song called Humans Being, and it was then pretty evident that he pretty much wanted to do his own thing, and so we asked him about it, and he said, yeah, he wanted to go back and be a solo artist. So we all kind of parted.
kidding.
We all kind of parted as friends, very congenial. Everyone was going, well, if you ever change your phone number, give it to me. And then a few weeks later, all of a sudden, Sammy hits the press saying that we undermined him by, we got David Lee Roth behind his back and whatever. And it was until after Sammy left that we talked with Dave, because we were putting out a Greatest Hits Volume 1, and Dave wanted to know. He wanted to know what songs were going on from the old stuff, which is, completely legit. And him and Ed got to talking, and they cleared a lot of the bad blood between them that from years ago. And they came to Al and me, and he said, well, wouldn't that be great to do a couple of new songs on the best of and use Dave? That'd be great. Wouldn't it be great for our fans? So we talked some more, and Dave came up to the studio, and we hung out, and we thought, well, let's try it. Now, unfortunately, Dave already had his bags packed and ready to go on tour before we even played one note of music. And we told him all along that this isn't permanent. That we're going to do a couple of songs, and we're going to see where it takes us from there. Because obviously, not to put Dave down as far as from a vocal standpoint, but a lot of the stuff with Sammy, he would not be able to sing, and so we would, in essence, be kind of taking a step backwards if he became a permanent member of the band again, because for the people that like all the stuff that we did with Sammy, he wouldn't be able to sing probably 99% of that stuff.
Yeah. Right.
So, but we didn't know, it could have taken us into a tour, and the biggest thing, we wanted our fans to know that it wouldn't be for money or one of these nostalgia things like Kiss is doing or something like that, and that it would be for our fans. But Dave just, he kept putting the cart before the horse, and before you know it, we were asked by MTV and Warner Brothers to present an award on the MTV Awards this past September. And when we walked out on stage, and it was like a standing ovation.
Wasn't that something?
A few minutes of that public adulation, and Dave just, like he was right back in the driver's seat again. And he was demanding stuff, and we were trying to tell people backstage.
Take the brown M&Ms out of the bowl.
Yeah, and so it just it became evident, all these reasons why he left the band. All of a sudden, came back again, and I'm kind of sorry it didn't happen, because it would have been a great thing for our fans. But then we didn't want to, string our fans along, and no, we did not do the whole thing as a publicity stunt like Dave said then, because he felt bad that he wasn't going to be the lead singer, but he never was led to believe that, that he was.
I'm so glad you brought that out into the open because
You know what,
I had
Brad?
no idea.
This is the scoop for Glendora.
The scoop for
The
Glendora.
Brad Now
You got it
Show
first.
brings
Scoop
it to
for
you
Glendora.
right here.
Tell me real quick, because we didn't mention the new singer for the band now. It's from Extreme. Who is this?
Gary Sharon.
Okay.
He, when all this stuff was happening with Dave, and now this is contrary to what Dave says, is that we hired Gary 3 months before we even got Dave, which we didn't even talk to Gary until after the whole thing with Dave. But the band Extreme, they were breaking up because their lead guitarist, his name's Nuno, he was finishing up a solo album. And so we invited Gary to come by our studio and just hang out for a bit. And it just turned out the guy's got an incredible voice. Sings. We played a lot of the old Van Halen stuff. He sings all the Dave stuff, Stammy stuff.
Great. Good range.
Great. Oh yeah. And he's been down for 2-3 weeks now. We've already written 7 songs, and so we're gearing up to do a new album.
So we're looking
We're
at
all
a whole new
excited.
phase of Van Halen.
Van Halen
So we're all
Generation
excited to
3.
see- Oh, that's great. Now listen, let's talk a little bit of just a very short time because we're running out of time about the wife, the family, the kids.
The other
tell
half.
yours. The other half. All right. We have a wife, right? Or you
Yes.
have a wife. You've got how many kids?
Yes, I do. I've got 2 daughters.
2 daughters.
Taylor and Alicia. They're 11 and 4. Great kids.
And active in sports.
They're active in sports. Well, my
Sports.
Taylor's kind of, she's kicking the soccer ball around. She's ready to start next year in soccer. My oldest daughter, Alicia, she plays soccer and t-ball, and we're always been a really outdoors-oriented family.
Right.
My wife and I have water skied for 25 years. We have a place out in Lake Havasu,
Oh no.
so everyone can come and hang out.
Yeah. If you want the address, read the Hot Rod
there we go.
magazine. It's in there.
when the band's not doing anything, we go out there and we're avid water skiers. So we try to keep the kids,
That's great.
into outdoor sports and stuff like that.
Cool. And
Of course, they're into music.
So you've got a hot rod that you show, right?
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about the hot rod. What
Well-
kind of vehicle is it?
it's a 1934 Ford Roadster.
And what color is it,
That I had.
Michael?
Black with flames.
Oh, okay, it's not red,
And in
right?
case, no, and in case anybody wasn't there, I won Best of Show a few weeks ago in Glendora. I
Great.
want to thank all the judges, all the money I paid.
No, our
it's-
producer
you
was
know,
behind that, right?
That's just another fun thing to do. I mean,
Now, did that come right after we popped the question if you'd come on the show?
yes, it was. It was that same evening.
And I thought we were lucky.
They thought, oh, great. No, it's just another. I've always been into cars and whatever, and I'm good friends with a gentleman by the name of Boyd Coddington, who makes Boyd wheels, and he also builds hot rods. And they built me this hot rod, and I actually have a couple other ones that are in the works. But it's kind of a family-oriented thing too. As people that went to the Flashback 50s thing, there's hot rod events all over the country that are like the same thing, and it's it's kind of a great family thing to get the kids and jump in the hot rod and have fun.
Well, I got to tell you, we're going to end it with this, Michael, after I ask if Al has a question for you.
Al, you got anything to add?
But let me ask this last one.
Go ahead, Brad. Why don't you go ahead
Being
and
in
do that?
Glendora, okay, we're going to mention that because you did mention it yourself.
Yes, I did.
You've been here all of your life?
No, actually, I've lived in Glendora since '81.
81. What is it about the town that's kept you here? In fact, that's when I moved to Glendora in 81. Interesting. What's kept you here in the town?
Oh, it's the party scene, man. It's a great
You're right.
Well, I grew up basically in Arcadia, and actually what happened was I was moving out of my parents' house, and at that point, I originally wanted to move somewhere in Arcadia, but I wanted to move somewhere where it was a little quieter actually for me. So I started looking out this way. Plus, at that time, it was like I had a certain amount of money that I wanted to spend on a house, and I didn't want to buy anything really huge. And I came to Glendora and looked around, and I thought, hey, this is great. Nice small town, and it's quiet. And I think it's great because I get so many months out of the year I do the Van Halen thing. But when I come home, I like to just hang out and kind of blend in. So
This house
Glendora.
is terrific, by the way. This is one hell
thank
of a
you.
house.
You
must have dropped a couple of dollars on this
here.
Yeah, I heard about the cave, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
dying to
the
go
cave.
in. Maybe we can push Marshall Mal in the pool here. And let him
Right.
But, I don't know. Al, you got a question?
I have no question because you
Okay,
did
we
such
have-
a great job. But I thank you, Michael. I really thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks, Mike. I
Brad.
really appreciate it. You did a
Okay.
great job, and best of luck to Van Halen
Well,
and
thank you very
yourself.
much.
We're
Thank you very
looking
much. We
forward
have a
to
new album coming out probably in the spring.
That's volume 2?
No, this will be just the next. This will be the next Van Halen studio record with Gary singing, and then we
Wow.
hit the road.
It's great. I brought my guitar, and I thought we'd do a little lip singing, but I guess we don't have the time, right,
Thank
Mr.
God.
Manager? We have.
Look at they're
we have
going.
Michael's
Thank God, yes.
personal manager here. Do you want to come say hi?
Yeah,
real
come on
quick?
in. Come on in.
Come on and say hi. Come on and say hi. We got a moment.
This is today's.
Well, I don't know.
We still have 10
We
minutes.
gotta steal him away.
Today's tour manager, Dennis McGovern.
And he's wearing a Pillsbury Bake Off contest.
Of course.
So
Yes.
That's cool. How you doing, Dennis?
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. He's gonna drag him away soon, though.
All right, he is. He's going to leave. All right,
Okay.
other than that, again, thanks, Michael.
Okay, my
All right.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, too.
Okay, now.
Talk to you later.
Back to the studio.